Hey YouTube, how we doing? It is time for an update on TEEMO runes and builds. So you know it, we're going to be doing another TEEMO Ultimate Guide to get you all caught up to date for patch 14.11. As you can see right above here, Twitch chat is with us. So if you are not familiar with my Twitch channel, twitch.manko1, I do all this live on my gameplay, on my guides and whatnot. So toss me a follow over there. Let's get into the action. So a lot has changed since our last TEEMO guide. And in this guide, we're going to be going over runes and builds for top lane, for jungle, for mid, ADC, and support. I am the only multi-role challenger TEEMO player, and I know you guys don't only play top lane, so I got you covered in all 5 roles. Let's get cracked into it. So here is my OPGG. I'm currently Grandmasters at the moment. The season just reset, so we're getting back to the promised land. Now let's get into the runes. We're going to be doing runes first, and then we'll do builds after. So what are going to be the rune changes? So there is a lot going down. Airy, Dark Harvest, Electrocute, Phase Rush, all those runes are kind of stinky. The major runes now will be Fleet, Press the Attack, and First Strike. These are going to be the most common runes. Grass is going to be usable, but only situational. That's it. So if you're wondering, Manko, why didn't you talk about Comet or Hail of Blades or Dark Harvest or whatever, those runes kind of stink, right? You can take them if you want, but they're not going to be the best runes for your gameplay. With that being said, you're going to notice other people tanking it. But do you want to be the highest rank you can be, or do you want to play for fun? That's up for you to decide. I'm just here to help. So to get into the most popular rune page, and we're going to start with top lane. So for top lane TEEMO, the most popular rune page is Fleet Footwork. This rune is going to be good just to stabilize your gameplay, right? If you don't know what to take Fleet. Gives you a little healing, gives you a little damage. So your Fleet rune page will go something like this. Fleet Footwork. The new rune, Absorb Life, because it's really strong. It's free sustain. Legend Alacrity for your attack speed. And then I personally like Cut Down because it just got buffed and it does more damage above 50%. That means your poke will stick. And then for your secondary, it's completely up to you. If you want to go Conditioning Overgrowth to scale, that's awesome. If you want to go Cheap Shot Ult Hunter for more shrooms, that's awesome. If you want to go Absolute Focus Gathering Storm for super scaling, that's awesome. If you want to go this for whatever reason, it's fine. The secondary is up to you. I'm just going to recommend a basic tanky scaling. This is going to be applicable for most people. And for your top lane rune page, you're always going to go attack speed, AP, and scaling health. This is your most common rune page. Go ahead and screenshot it. That's going to be, for every lane, this is fine, right? It's always going to help you stabilize. Now, for your second rune page for top lane, you're going to go Press the Attack. Press the Attack's a good all-in rune page. If you want to kill your laner actively, you go Press the Attack. And then again, same deal with the secondary. You can mix and match however you want. Now, this is going to be the newest rune page that people aren't taking yet, but they will. First Strike was giga buffed. Practically every champion in the game that's a mage, assassin, or support is going First Strike. The reason why is they changed it to give 15 gold just every time you proc it. So every 15 to 25 seconds, you're getting 15 gold minimum. This is really good in some lanes. What lanes will this be good in? Well, you know it. Top lane, when you're going versus a matchup that nothing happens, you can go First Strike. That's going to be up to you. For me personally, if I verse a Garen, I go First Strike because I'm never going to kill him. He has a Warmogs built in, and I just keep farming him for gold, right? If you're versing Ornn, you just farm him for gold. If you're versus any tank, any lane that's not a threat, you just farm him for gold. So First Strike is going to be really good, and you'll notice it's going to be becoming more popular. So for your First Strike page for top lane, you're also going to be going this rune, Cash Back. At 2 items, this is giving you about 400 gold. At 3 items, it's giving you about 600 gold. It's a lot of gold. You have First Strike and Cash Back, you're getting at minimum 1,000 gold a game. That's why this rune page is so strong. You have Triple Tonic here. This at level 3, it gives you gold. At level 6, it gives you a little 20 AP elixir that can be used for a solo bolo. At level 9, you get an elixir that gives you another skill point. So it's just generically good. And then for your third slot, it's going to be Cosmic Insight. And now this page, again, you can go whatever you want, but I personally like to just turn this into a scaling setup because First Strike is not good early game. You're not going to take this if you want to solo kill them. You're taking this to scale. So with that being mine, I would go a scaling rune page. So Cheap Shot Ultimate Hunter comes to mind, Absolute Focus Gathering Storm, or if you just want to go Absorb Life and Alacrity to sustain, that's fine as well. But secondary is always up to you. I'm not too strict on that. But those are the top 3 rune pages, right? Fleet, press the attack, and first strike. Those are your big 3. Now, you can still go Grasp if you're running Tankmo only. Grasp is only good with Tankmo. Keep that in mind. We'll go over Tankmo in a little bit, but your Grasp room page will be Demolish, Conditioning Overgrowth, and you're going to be going double scaling HP. This is the change, right? Because we're looking to play Tankmo only, and I like to go Alacrity and Cut and Less Stand with this because of synergy, but again, you could really go whatever you want. This will be for Tankmo only, which we'll get to in a little. That's going to be your 4 pages for top lane. Again, you can run anything you want, right? And you're going to hear a lot of people tell you, run this page, that page, whatever. But you're going to notice, right? I always make my guides for you to win your League of Legends games, right? I'm not making this for fun. I'm making this so you play the best builds. The best builds are dictated by the best players, right? So keep that in mind. If you see someone going Dark Harvest, they don't deserve to rot and burn in hell. They're not a bad person. But again, that isn't going to be a top page to win every game. That's the purpose of this guide. So those are your top pages. Now we're moving on to jungle. It's going to be way less fun. There is only one viable page in the jungle right now. I'm currently playing jungle at a master tier level. If there's another TEEMO jungle player, there isn't. Because I'm the GOAT at TEEMO Jungle, you guys know this. One TEEMO Jungle page, press the attack, Triumph, Alacrity, Coup de Grace, and then you go secondary, Cosmic Insight, and Boots. You go attack speed, adaptive force, scaling HP. This is the only jungle room page I find viable right now. A big common room page that other people go is Dark Harvest, but that feels really poopy early game. It feels terrible early game. Hailblades also got nerfed, so we're not going to be running that. So this is the only page I find viable. The rest pale in comparison. I wouldn't be going into the room page. If you were to go Dark Harvest, I understand. I'm not going to flame you for that. If you were going to go First Strike, I get it. But again, I don't think these are winning pages. They're way too slow early game. I would go for this one. There is one flexible. So if you want to go Celerity Water Walking for your secondary, this is more of a gank heavy setup and like a more early game setup, which I do respect. I just think this is the most consistent, right? You full clear, you base, and you're ready to do gamer moves. So that is it for the jungle. Not a lot of flexibility on this patch. Now for mid lane. All right, mid lane TEEMO is secretly really good. Mid lane TEEMO is very, very good. This is going to be the most common room page. You have a couple options. Fleet Footwork will be the most common. You'll notice a lot of these points are duplicated, right? So this setup, right, you can see is very similar. I like this page the most, Celerity and Water Walking. This is my standard room page versus a mage. Because when you're versus a mage mid lane, which is the most common matchup, you need that Celerity to dodge all their abilities, right? A big thing comes in mind is way. So for mid, this is my most viable room page. Now mid lane is the only lane in my opinion that you can actually run Dark Harvest. So if you want to go a Dark Harvest page, right, these points are flexible. I do Ultimate Hunter, and the secondary is flexible. Are you versus a mid laner, are you versus a mage, you can go this, or you can switch it up to whatever you'd like. And again, Dark Harvest, the reason why it's only viable mid in my opinion is because mid lane you can proc it on your laner, they're squishy, or you can roam and proc it on everybody else. Very important. Again, Dark Harvest top lane, stinky. Dark Harvest support, also stinky generally, because you want to be strong early as support. But Dark Harvest in the mid lane, actually viable. Of course, you can go press the attack if you're versus Silas, for example, or if you're versus a tank mid lane. You could go press the attack, so that page will always be viable here. But again, depends on the matchup. That's going to be... And of course, you can still go First Strike, right? If you feel like you can proc it first. That's what this is going to look like. Always depends on the matchup in the mid lane, right? First Strike is not going to be good versus a mage. They're going to proc it first. But if you want to play a scaling game and go First Strike versus melee, heck yeah. If you want to all in with press the attack, heck yeah. If you want to just survive, Fleet's awesome, right? So again, always matters on the lane. But for the mid lane, right? Fleet, press the attack, First Strike, and Dark Harvest. Similar to top lane. Now we're going to go over to ADC. ADC is going to be the same exact thing as mid and top lane, right? We're not going to go over it again, right? Same thing applies. ADC TEEMO, remember, we hit Challenger with it last split, so we actually play it. ADC is going to be either Fleet, if you want to survive, press the attack if you're versus an engaged support, like Nautilus, First Strike if you just want to farm and scale, and Dark Harvest if you want to go super high risk, high reward. Not going to go over it all again because we already did that. Last but not least on TEEMO, the support role, which is what I'm playing this season full time. I plan on getting Challenger on TEEMO support. So, again, you're going to notice the pages kind of flex between each roles. Support is in the same role as top lane. Pressy attack's good versus Nautilus, right? Fleet's good for, surviving. You can go first strike Teemo support and just farm golden scale. It's actually really good and my favorite. And then Dark Harvest if you're playing that ultra high risk, high reward. A lot of these pages depend on you as a player. What do you want to run? It's up to you. So as long as you're running one of these top 4 pages, we're not going to flame you. Again, that's the whole concept of this guide, to let you know. If you're playing Electrocute Teemo, I'm going to laugh at you and call you a noob. If you're playing Phase Rush Teemo, what the heck is going on? Ares outdated, Comet's outdated. So again, Fleet, Pressy Attack, Dark Harvest, and First Strike are going to be the top 4 with a Grasp in the top lane. That is all the rune pages. That is the big scoop. It took us 10 minutes. And that will save you a bunch of LP. Now, here comes the tricky part. Now we're going to have to go to our items, and we now have to combine them with our room pages. This is where it gets a little finicky, where you have to pay attention. So we'll start again in the top lane. And this is where a lot of Teemoing is up to you. That's why the champ is so fun. If you one-trick a Fiora, right? One-tricking Fiora is boring. You can only go one build, right? Or maybe 2 builds. But Teemo, a lot of this is up to you. What items do you want to run with your room page? So let's start with the most basic. So if you're going Pressy Attack, and these builds will be for all the roles. So if you're going Pressy Attack Teemo, doesn't matter what role, your build's always going to look like this. You got Pressy Attack, so you need 3 autos. To get those 3 autos, you need attack speed. Every Pressy Attack based build will start with Berserkers and Nashers, because you're not going to run Pressy Attack if you're not going to auto them. So you're going to start with Berserker Nashers. That's going to be your core. And this is for any Pressy Attack build, any role, even support. So Pressy Attack Nashers and Berserker Greaves, this is your core. And then, of course, you're going to see a pool of items. With Teemo, it's really beautiful right now. All these items are going to be viable. So you can pick whatever one you like, which is really fun. That's what item diversity is called. And it's totally up to you. Let's just get those listed out really quick. And again, this way of playing Teemo, as long as you're building these Manko approved items, we're all going to be good in our books, right? Okay, these look pretty solid here. Am I missing any? That looks about it. So, disclaimer so these 2 items are very skill based. If you feel up to it, you can build these. But these are very, they're either going to be really good or really crap. So I just don't buy either of them generally. These items on Teemo, they're really hard to make work. So I'm just going to X these out. Again, if you build these items, that's totally fine. I don't hate you for it. But these items for me and my recommendation, probably stay away from them. Because if you notice with all these items, right, these items all do, but look at the common theme of these items. You don't have to click any buttons. You can't mess these items up. If you Q them, these items do damage. If you E them or press R, these items do damage. These items you can mess up a lot, right? You can have a Zanyas to get yourself killed. You could just get, Yumi Q pop you off your spell shield. So I don't like going these items. I don't recommend these items. They're too hard to use for the old Teemo. I would stay with this pool here. And now, like I was saying, for Teemo, any of these items are good. If you like Blackfire Torch instead of Maligma Ballsack, that's fine. If you like Maligma Ballsack instead of Blackfire Torch, that's fine. As long as you're building any combo of these items, you're looking good. Now, a general rule of thumb, you want to get your Magic Pen around 4th item and Death Cap around 5th item. Or even 6th. That's the only rules of thumb you should know. So my favorite build, for example, when running Pressy Attack, I would go something like this. I would go Nashers into Maligma, into Liandry's, Crypt Blossom, Death Cap. This is my preferred build, right? If you want to go no Malignance and you want to go Shadow Flame instead, that's totally fine. If you want to go no Shadow Flame and Torch, that's fine. If you want to go Void instead of Crypt Blossom, that's fine. Or Crypt Bloom, sorry. But any of these pool of items is fine. Just press the attack here. This is going to be your core build. Now, we address it this way because this common theme is going to follow every build, every role. So for Pressy Attack, Core Berserkers, Nashers, you go flex from there. So now on to Fleet. So with Fleet Footwork, you don't have to be going attack speed, right? We have a little more flexibility coming. So for Fleet, I would generally stay with the damage boots. When you get into the tanky boots, it gets very finicky. So for these builds, I would stay in the damage boot category. So for Fleet, now all of this is situational. So it really depends up to you. My preferred fleet build is going to be no Nashers. For fleet footwork, I like to go Sork Boots, and I like to go no Nashers. I like to go Malignants, Leandres into our Crypt Blossom, Death Cap, whatever. But if you want to go Nashers, that's fine, right? So if you go Nashers first, all good. You know, you kind of plug and pull here. And if you want to go Berserkers, that's totally fine as well. So you can do the same build as your Pressy Attack. Just make sure it's some of these certified items. So again, my preferred fleet build, if you want to just copy me, this is what I'm looking with, right? This feels really good to me. I'll go this and 6 items a total flex. So this is my preferred build, but really you kind of just build whatever you want there. Because fleet is a very balanced rune page. You could take fleet versus any matchup. You could take fleet in any lane. You could take fleet anywhere. So that's going to be the preferred sauce. Now, I do want to mention, I don't build Swifties anymore, but it is very viable. Swifties can be very situational with your build as well. And you can have some intent with it. If you're verse a Darius and you build Swifties, that shows you're using your brain because you have to dodge his stuff. So you can be intentional situation with Swifties and it could be really good as well. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Again, stay away from the tank boots for now. So this is going to be your fleet footwork page, right? Again, anything you really want, very situational. Now we're going to move on to the third popular rune, First Strike. So a First Strike, you're not going to want to build Berserker Greaves, right? Because First Strike is about poking. First Strike is a poke rune page. So you're not going to build Berserkers to poke them. So Berserkers is no longer a part of the equation. You can go either Sork Boots or Swifties. And First Strike, again, same deal. If you want to go Nashers, that's fine. You don't have to. If you want to go Malignants, that's fine. My preferred build, again, is no Nashers. I think the item's a little bit overrated. My preferred build is going to be something like this. But again, the common theme, I'm just going to keep repeating it so you guys kind of have it stick. The common theme with TEEMO is that you get to pick your items as long as they're not shit items. That's the whole catch. Again, if you're building a shit item, then you start losing my respect. Cosmic Drive, for example, is a shit item right now. Nobody except Vladimir builds it. So if you're building Cosmic Drive, now I get to call you stinky. Now I get to make fun of you. That's a really crap item. So as long as you're not building the bad items, anything works, right? So again, First Strike, this is my preferred build, but up to you. And you'll notice I keep just dragging them back into our little certified pool. Now for the next room page. So we have Pressy Attack, we have Fleet, we have First Strike. What's our next room page? I feel like I missed one. Dark Harvest. Okay. So if you're going Dark Harvest, again, Dark Harvest is only good. It's great mid lane, and it's okay ADC and support. So Dark Harvest, again, I'm not going to go Berserker Graves because Dark Harvest is more of like a full AP build. So I recommend the Sork Boost. My preferred Dark Harvest build, again, you're going to notice a trend here. I don't prefer Nashers. Here's my preferred Dark Harvest build. So again, you're seeing my favorite build. It doesn't have to be yours. You can kind of do what you want. So this is my preferred. But Dark Harvest, and anything but Berserkers, you're fine. Nashers is fine. Now, here is going to be, that is all of the AP TEEMO variants. Now, let me address something really quickly. On hit TEEMO, okay, it is viable. But the thing about on hit TEEMO, it's very hard to play. So again, just to reiterate, AP TEEMO, we went over every AP TEEMO setup. So I'm going to close this out. That's AP TEEMO with Pressy Attack, with Fleet, with Dark Harvest, with First Strike, and that's all the AP TEEMO variants. Now, if we're talking about on-hit TEEMO, very big, be warned. On-hit TEEMO is harder to play. On-hit TEEMO has different power spikes. I do not recommend playing on-hit TEEMO ever if you're below Diamond. It's going to be very hard to make work. It's a very difficult page to make work. But if you're around Diamond or higher, or if you just love on-hit TEEMO is viable. It is viable. It's only viable going Pressy Attack or Fleet. So refer to the Pressy Attack or Fleet room page, and here will be the on-hit TEEMO build if you're an absolute on-hit TEEMO enthusiast. So for most games, you're going to go Berserker Greaves. It's the earliest power spike. You can go Tank Boots, but it delays your power spike a lot. Now let me drag the potential items in here so we can kind of get situated. And again, be warned, this is a very hard build to pull off, so... Okay, so, and I played a lot of on-hit Teemo in my day. I play it fairly often enough, so I'm an on-hit Teemo enthusiast. So on-hit Teemo, so first rule of thumb, you want to have 3 attack speed items. It's 3 attack speed items and then into tankiness. So 3 attack speed items is your core, and your tankiness will come after, so keep that in mind. Now, on-hit Teemo can be played top lane, it could be played ADC, and it could be played jungle. You can't play on-hit Teemo mid or support. It doesn't work out. So if you're playing top lane, right, the first check is the enemy top lane or tanky? If you're versus a K'Sante, if you're versus Sion, if you're versus any Cho'Gath, if you're versus super tanky top lane, you rush Bork. If you're not versus a tanky top lane, or same in the ADC role or the jungle role, you're going to go Kraken. So tanky equals Bork, non-tanky equals Kraken. Now, second item. Second item cannot be Terminus. Terminus is a third item. Your second item will always be either Wit's End, Rageblade, or Bork. Terminus is always third. It's a scaling item. It's better when you already have damage. So if you build Kraken, you're not versus a tanky top laner. Now you have to ask yourself, do I need MR/Tenacity or not? If the answer is no, then you go Rageblade Terminus. If the answer is you do need MR or Tenacity, you go Wit's End into Terminus. The highest damage is going to be Rageblade, but then Wit's End can also be viable. So this always matters. And it's again, same with Bork. So if you go Bork first, do you need Wit's End or Rageblade? Right? If you don't need Wit's End, and you know, then you have to decide Rageblade, and then you go Terminus. So you're gonna notice the trend here, right? First item is either Kraken or Bork, and then it's either Wit's End or Rageblade, then it's Terminus always. And then after that, you go Jack-Show. Jack-Show is like the jack of all trades. So here's an example build. This is my most commonly used build. This is the one that I've noticed the most, but it's always situational. That's why on-hit Teemo is hard. You have to be making these decisions on the fly. So this is my most common build here. And then after this, it's situational tanky items. So now you have to decide, do I need armor, do I need MR, or do I need both, right? Jack-Show is always going to be built. It's just a good all-around item. Then you have to ask yourself, do I need armor? Randuin's. Do I need MR? Force of Nature. If you need neither, you go Riftmaker. Just a good all-around item for on-hit Teemo because of the Omnivamp. That is going to be your on-hit Teemo setup. Only used with Press Attack Fleet. Only used in jungle top or ADC. Very hard, very situational. Proceed at your own risk. Now, the last build, and then we are completely done. We talked about all the Teemo runes and builds, but it took us 30 freaking minutes. That's how advanced Teemo is and in-depth. That's why we love them. The last build to talk about is Tankmo. Tankmo is a top lane only build. Why? Because of the power spiking. You can't go Tankmo in the jungle. It's way too slow early. You can't go Tankmo in bot lane or support or mid. It's just way too slow paced. Slow paced is good for top lane. Top lane's the farmer role. So Tankmo is going to be used with grasp only. Grasp only. And Tankmo is going to be as follow. You are going to be going tanky boots for Tankmo. You kind of see how that makes sense. So decide whether you need steel caps or merc treads. I do it based on lane. You could do it based on how you want. Tankmo is a rush heartsteel angle into second item Warmog's angle. Warmog's got buffed, so it's now part of the core build. Warmog's is buffed, very important. So you rush heartsteel. You can get boots of speed 1, so it's actually going to look like this, right? You go boots of speed into heartsteel into your upgraded boots into Warmogs. That's going to be the actual build path, but that looks ugly, so we're just going to put it, you know, up here like this. So Tankmo works like this. You get a bajillion grass procs. You get a bajillion heartsteel procs. You buy Warmogs. Now you have 5k HP. Your grass procs off your HP. Your heartsteel does damage based off your HP. Your demolish does damage based off your HP. So you become an actual split pusher. And then you still do damage because you're Teemo. That's the concept of Tankmo. Now, Tankmo is very flexible. But again, here's the biggest pet peeve I have. I've seen a lot of people build all the bad items. Remember, Teemo is about building the good items. You don't want to build the bad items. I see people building this. It's stinky. It's garbage. I see people building this. It's stinky. It's garbage. You want only the good items. So for Tankmo, I recommend Riftmaker as a good item because it gives bonus AP. You're going to get about 100 at third item Riftmaker. So this is a good item to build. It also, good MR items, right? If you need magic resist, it always depends on the game. Kanik Rukern's a good MR item. Force of Nature is a good MR item. You're not going to be building Hollow Radiance. You don't need the Sunfire damage. You're not going to be building Wit's End. It doesn't fit for Tankmo. You need HP. So these are the good MR items, and same deal with armor. Randuin's is a good armor item. Thornmail is a good armor item. You're not going to be building Deadmans. You're not going to be building Unending Despair. You have to build only the good items. What items are the good items? It's what you see all the popular champs building. The only champ in the game that builds Unending Despair is Scion. It's not a good item. This is determined by mechanics in the game. This is determined by a lot of things. Jackshaw is also a good flex item if you need both resistances or just super late game. Now, the last thing about Tankmo, you do need an attack speed item or your damage falls off. You have room for one attack speed item, which will be Rage Blade. This should be built third or fourth item depending on the game, depending on what you need. So your core build is up here. This is your core 2 items. Your third item can be Rage Blade if you feel like you don't need tankiness. If you feel like you need tankiness, Rage Blade could be your 4th item. It has to be 3rd or 4th or your damage falls off a cliff. That is Tankmo in a nutshell. And also to show a little proof of concept, I played a Tankmo game recently. First off, the build's fun as heck. Again, if you do it properly, I love this build. So I'm in a recent game of Tankmo. Here is 2 Tankmo games, a loss and a win. Here's the win where we did 30k damage. We took 52k, and we were overall a nuisance. Look at my build. Just like we recommended. So Tankmo is viable. It's not bad whatsoever. Just make sure you do it properly. And that is going to be the full 5-role guide to all Teemo runes and builds. These are the builds I find best. These are the builds I find viable. If you're running builds other than this, by all means do what you want, but these are the most winning builds, in my opinion, coming from a multi-role challenger Teemo main. So just a little TLDW if you didn't want to watch the whole video. The best rune pages for every role are Pressy Attack, Fleet, and First Strike. If you want to get risky, you can go Dark Harvest. If you want to go Tank Mode top lane, you can go Grasp. The best items for Teemo in all 5 lanes are Nashers, Sorks, and Berserker Boots. And then a combination of Malignance, Liandry's, Crypt Bloom, Death Cap, Shadow Flame, and Blackfire Torch. That is it. I'm going to slap some extra games here so you guys can see me using the builds in action. And you all have a wonderful day. Thanks for tuning to this guide. I hope you gained some ELO from it. Cheers.